Hey, what is going on guys? My name is Ben, and in this video I'm going to be talking to you guys specifically about upgrading your gaming setup or your entire PC setup, as a matter of fact, specifically looking at monitors. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Just so you guys know, all the monitors that I mentioned in this video will be linked in the video description below. So the first thing that we need to talk about when it comes to monitors is the actual purpose that you guys want to use it for. That can range from gaming to video editing to photo editing, streaming, or even if you just work from home. The monitors that you want need to facilitate what you need them to do. So for example, if you're a gamer and you also dabble in some video editing, you will want realistically a monitor that is both designed for gaming or can facilitate gaming as well as accommodate the video editing needs that you want. So something like this would be an ultra-wide monitor that's got a high refresh rate really. Something like that, so you can get the performance you need for gaming. So that could be like a 5 millisecond, 2 millisecond, or even a 1 millisecond. And then if it's an ultra-wide, you've got that ability for a larger screen real estate so that you can do your video editing. The second thing that you need to consider is the type of monitor that you're wanting to invest in. Now there's a whole range of monitors out there. These can come in the form of like gaming monitors, so like Asus do a huge range of gaming monitors. Asus ROG Swift, so they're like one of the main gaming series, and there's monitors that are actually quite good. For example, there's a 27-inch 2K Asus PG272. I'm looking at it and I can't even read it right. Asus PB279Q. Boom. Check that out in the description below. You also have other monitors that are like ultra wides, you have curved monitors, you have 3D monitors, and you also have monitors that are designed for like photo editing. So yeah, so these are the sort of monitors that you kind of need to consider, because obviously monitors come in different like purposes, but they also come in different shapes and sizes. The purpose that you need the monitor for, you also need to ensure that what those monitors were designed for suits your needs. Second thing we need to consider here is whether or not you go with a multi-monitor display. Like from behind me, I actually have 3 monitors, 3 normal 1080p, just bog standard monitors. Now I've worked with the 3 monitors behind me for the last 2.5 years. I personally game with 3 monitors. Not all games support it. This is something that you need to consider. Most modern titles now will support 3 monitors. Some games don't. Like for example, Call of Duty. As far as I'm aware, every single Call of Duty game that I've played will not support 3 monitors. Even with some of the monitor gaming hacks, will not support 3 monitors purely because it gives an unfair advantage to other players. Other games like Battlefield 1, is it Battlefield 1? Okay. I think it's Battlefield 1, I can't remember its name. That supports 3 monitors. Like Dirt, all that sort of racing car games support it. Rocket League supports it. So there's a lot of games like that do. But like older titles, for example, I've started playing Assassin's Creed series again. The older first game doesn't support it at all, so that's just something to bear in mind. As well as gaming, I also use my monitors for I'm a web designer in my spare time. So I could be using my monitors for a whole range of things. I could have a website open on one screen. I could have my text editor in the middle screen. Often I have my Photoshop on the left hand side so I know what design I'm working to, or I might have my FTP client open. I could have Illustrator open because I'm doing some SVG stuff, and all along that I could have my Spotify open. I could have social media coming through. It's like there's quite a lot of stuff that I use it for, and that's why 3 monitors comes in really handy. But if you're just starting out and you're looking to buy monitors, I wouldn't recommend going straight in and buying 3 monitors unless you've got the money to, and kudos to you if you have. But I'd strongly suggest maybe looking at 2 that best suit you, and then if you feel that you can go out for another monitor and you think that would be an advantage, do it. So like I said, the number of monitors is kind of another thing that you have to consider. With multiple monitors, you may also want to start considering bezels. I know my monitors, from what you're probably looking at right now, look quite thin to the bezels, which they are, and that's something that you have to consider. When you're gaming, you don't actually notice it that much, or not that I've noticed it that much. So that's something that you consider, because if you're going to have a good inch of bezel, you're going to be looking between 2 inches between each monitor. Which this monitor, these are the Dell U2414Hs, and they're obviously they've got a really small bezel. So that's something that you might want to look into. I know a lot of the Asus monitors and some of the BenQ monitors now have quite slim bezels, so it's just a case of sort of looking around. I'll link some in the description below so you guys can sort of check some out for yourself. A slightly less important factor would be the design. Whether or not you guys have a certain colour scheme in mind, so say you want like an all black, or whether or not you want something that's kind of minimalistic in its like design, like mine are. I think they have 5 buttons at the front that are literally just dots, or whether or not you want something more in your face. So that's something to look at. I know the Asus curved PG348Q is what I'd probably consider the best monitor money can buy right now. That has an insane designs like around it, and the legs that itself have are just crazy. If you're intending to use the provided monitor stand, you need to make sure that you have enough desk space to support it, which if you're having one monitor I'm pretty sure it will, but if you're looking at maybe 2 or 3 monitors, that may become a factor. For example, my 3 monitors behind me, I maybe could get them on to that one desk if I tried, but I might be pushing over the edge a little bit. So if that is going to be an issue, you then look at monitor mounts. You need to factor into your budget. Like that monitor mount there is the Ergotech triple monitor mount. I'll link to that in the description below. That cost me about £200, which is what, $200 and $300, something like that, I'm not too sure, which was the cost of one of those monitors. So it's like, that's definitely something you need to consider. Technologies in the displays themselves are actually quite important. Whether or not you want a USB hub, these guys have USB hubs, and it allows me to route my gamepad, my webcam and a few other things to the back of the monitor, so they don't have to like have wires trailing through all the way to the bottom. And it also frees up space in the back of my computer too. Also, there are technologies such as AMD FreeSync and NVIDIA G-Sync. These are designed to sort of eliminate screen tearing in games. For example, if you have an NVIDIA graphics card like I do, you'd realistically want to, if you intend to buy a gaming monitor and do gaming, look for a monitor that has G-Sync, because that you can take advantage of that technology. Well, these monitors don't actually have any of that technology because they're that old, so I can't take advantage of that yet, but this is going to be a right list for you guys to try and remember. Ports in the back of the monitors are also another thing. If your graphics card only supports VGA, DVI or HDMI, then you need to make sure that you can support that in the monitors themselves, especially if you're going with multi-monitor displays. Most modern ones support DisplayPort, HDMI, and DisplayPort is also known as Thunderbolt, which, so if you've got like an Apple Mac, you can actually stick them in as well. Just read up on it when you're looking through some of the links. Finally, budget. Obviously this is the biggest contributing factor. I'll link to a couple budget monitors that I think, well, that I do know. My brother's bought 2 of them because they're just that good. I think they're about £120 each. And I'll link to some good normal bog standard monitors. I'll link you to some good gaming monitors so you guys can sort of have a look at that. So by all means, check the links in the description below. Other than that, I think I've covered everything. So I'm sorry this has been a long video. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. I hope it's been quite informative and brought some attention to some of the things that you may or may not considered when looking at monitors. So for any more future videos like this, whether or not it's upgrading your computer or whether or not it's tech stuff in general, be sure to subscribe. Leave a like on this video if you have enjoyed it. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Boom!